Good morning, this is Alan Buchanan, and I provide location advice to owners and occupants of industrial buildings in Southern California. And welcome to another edition of this Tuesday Traffic Tips. This week, once again, brought to you by the good folks at Client Look and also the good folks at Reonomy. Here we are, almost August the 1st. I can't believe how quickly 2019 has eclipsed us. And so my question for you today is, how do you track your fees? I'm sure most of you have some sort of a transaction in progress sheet where you track what you're working on and what the potential fees are there, but is the way in which you track your fees somewhat misleading? I would suggest that you categorize what you're working on in 5 or 6 different categories. These could be categories such as prospects, could be categories such as proposals, could be categories such as meetings, could be categories such as actual exclusives that you have, could be in terms of escrows or leases that you have out for signature, leases that you've completed that you've not yet been paid on, and actually closed deals. I would ask you to actually track these on a weekly basis. Now, if you happen to be a client of the Massimo Group, they make this very easy for you with their digital pipeline. But if you're not a member of the Massimo Group, you can still do it via some sort of a spreadsheet or, just go old school and do it on a yellow sheet of paper. However, here's where you need to really be candid with yourself. And that is, if you're saying that someone's a qualified prospect, you've just had a meeting with them, there's a requirement, and yet there's a 70% chance that you're going to make that deal. My friends, you're kidding yourselves. In fact, you might make the deal, but the highest likelihood is that you won't. So when I'm looking at qualified prospects, those who have a requirement that I don't yet have control over, I generally classify those as maybe a 2 to 5% likelihood of happening. I put some sort of an estimate. If it's a lease, I estimate a term, I estimate a rate, I estimate a square footage, and consequently a fee. And then I hedge that by a 2 to 5% actuality percentage. As you go up the continuum, by the time you get to an escrow with non-refundable money, you got a pretty high likelihood that deal is going to close, especially if it's a good amount of non-refundable money. So maybe that's an 80 to 90% type of likelihood. Maybe it's more. You can figure that out on your own. So I would just suggest that you be very candid with yourself when looking at potential fees, when looking at transactions in process, and let's make 2019 your best ever. Alan Buchanan, make it a great week. Tuesday Traffic Tips.